Hello everyone, Boyces here, and today I will be guiding you on every single mage comp that you can play in TFT in set 4.5. So this is valid for 11.4. I'm pretty sure it's going to be valid for the rest of this set. There are so many different mage comps that you can play. I will provide you with the three strongest versions with different variations and how to play the early, mid, and late game. Let me know if you do have any questions down in the comments or on my Discord, but here we go. So this is the strongest version of it. It's just because at 11.4, Dragon Soul is super strong. I do believe that it's just right, and the Slayer being the best comp this patch, and you should definitely play it. There are some core items and units for this comp. I do believe that this is the strongest you can get at level 8, but the Siphoners are basically whatever you can hit, because you won't hit Swain until late, so we have another Dragon Soul here being... I don't know, Tristana or whatever you can get earlier to get to the 6 Dragon Soul buff. So you can have another Vanguard, you can have another frontline unit basically before that. As far as core items, it's Runans for the Shivana and GA for the Asol. The rest is all whatever you hit. Of course, those are just best in slot, but you know, you cannot hit best in slot every time. GA is core and score. Those are the strongest unit that you can put. Anything at level 9 is just a legendary unit and you're good to go. I prefer Lulu over Veigar, just because you have a super beefy frontline and you don't need more. When you have this Asol, this Shivana, and a Moilo more, you really don't need more damage. Like, all you need to do is survive long enough until they do enough damage, which is why the Lulu is better than the Veigar. You don't need more damage in this comp. As far as positioning, something that's really important and that some players do not understand. Yes, you do need the Orient Sword front line. Yes, it's on purpose. And let me explain why. Because you get 3 blessings of the Dragon Soul buff, right? So ideally, the plan is to give it to Shivana, Orient Soul, and Swain. And the only way to do that is being targeted first, right? That's how the buff is activated, by taking damage, which is why you need the GA and the SR frontline to be able to give more spell power and attack speed. As the whole idea of it. The whole positioning trick is basically to have Orient Soul on one side and Shivana on the other. Usually the Orient Soul will just ult in this direction or in this direction if you position in this way, and the Shivana will basically finish out the units that are still alive after being ult twice by the Asol. And if the Shivana doesn't finish it, the dragon buff bonus damage will. That's basically the idea of this comp. This is definitely S tier, definitely play it. Now, on to how to play it, because it's probably not the way you think of. It's actually playing brawlers in the early game. That's the ideal situation. The ideal situation is basically some kind of front line, 3 Dragon Souls. Okay, that's basically the idea. And the best is Shivana carry that you can have, which is why I recommend going for brawlers. So in the early game, if you to get a brawler chosen, I don't know, let's say Maokai, and then you get a Shivana and a Tamkench or a Vi, ideally the Vi, so the Shivana can do more damage, then you will keep that until level 7, actually. All you have to do is either add more Dragon Souls or add more brawlers. That's the only thing you have to do, so there is not much thinking there. So when you do roll at 6 and you have the brawler frontline, I will roll 4 to find one Shivana and the brawler frontline, potentially Dragon Sword if you can with Brand and Tristana, and you're good to go. you can go to level 7. The goal at level 7 is to 2-star the Shivana. If you already have Shivana 2-star and Brawler Dragon Soul, you're stable, go to 8. Go to level 7 is to have Shivana 2. If you find 8 soul, great. You can switch with the Tristana and put the items on your own soul. That's great. But it's kind of a high roll, and I'm not going to assume you just hit Orient Soul at 7. Right? The Runans with 4 to 6 Brawlers and Dragon Soul, Shivana should be enough to carry you to level 7. And at level 8, you will be able to transition to the 6 Dragon Soul units on the roll down. That's pretty much it for this comp. You play Brawlers early, Ronan Shivana, you build the GA as fast as you can for the Orient Soul. Any AP items, it doesn't have to be True Gauntlet Gunblade, it can be True Gauntlet IE, it can be Blue Buff, can be Morello, Rabadon. You name it. Any AP items is fine. All the tanky items will go on the Morgana or the Swain, and you're good to go. That's it for this comp. Let me know if you have anything else that you would like to add. 9 Elderwoods. So I do believe that this is the best spat, I guess, composition that you can play if you get a spat early. Let's say at first carousel, usually the 9 Elderwoods people are the ones going top 4 most consistently. Just because it's super strong. It adds tankiness to everybody. ASO is doing a ton of damage. You have a beefy front line, and you have a great early game. So, yeah, overall, this comp, if you get spat, I would definitely recommend going for this comp. I wouldn't recommend to open 4 to hand to hopefully get a spat and then force this. That's just not the way to play the game. I don't think you will do well with it, to be honest. Yeah. So now you have to just figure out basically how to play your game before you basically hit level 8 and hit the 1 for the 9 Elderwood synergy. So let's cover that. So there are many variations that you can have. This is just Keeper. So let's say even you don't even have a spat. There you go. This is clean. You have Keepers also. I don't know. Let's say Cannon, for example. This is a great level 8 composition that you can have. Waiting for the Orn, basically. Of course, you want the other spot here. But if you want to wait for the Orn, this is a great alternative that you can do for it. Another thing that you can do is, instead of having the cannon and you have the Arduo chosen, what you can do is, instead of the Xayah, you can add those 2 front line over here, and then you can have Annie and Brand for 5 mages and 6 Elderwood. That too is also super strong. Again, this is just waiting room for the Orn. Any mages is fine. Just Brand here with the first, but any mages is fine. Yeah, those are just 2 comps that you can do to basically get your good comp before hitting Horn. So now let's talk a little bit about the early game. So let me just drag out everything here. So the idea is you have Elderwood chosen, let's say Maokai, right? You probably don't want to keep that chosen during the entire game, but for the purpose of focusing on this comp. So what you can do, you have chosen Maokai, right? What you can do, the best that you can do actually, is having the TF or the items for the ASOR. So if you have Elderwood Spat already, great, you can pull it. If not, you can put the Gunblade or True Gauntlet or whatever item you hit on the TF. That would be your 3rd mage. Another thing to do, which I think actually is, I would consider it core, is having Sunfire and Rakan. Just because the disarm and the burn in early game is so huge in this meta. Okay, so if you had to add an item priority, I would actually recommend Sunfire, and then Elder Spot and the Orange Soul items. This is gonna carry you early, basically, is the idea here. Okay. Then after that, it's just a matter of finding the units. Of course, getting to 6 Yardwood as soon as possible is fantastic, especially at level 6 if you can, it's insane. And it's just a matter of finding, if you don't have the 6 Yardwood, let's say you don't have the Vigor or the Lulu, if you have 4 Yardwoods here, what you can do is just play the brawlers. Tamkench, let's say, and Vi. All you have to do is just have an item order for the Asol and a beefy frontline with the Rakan with Sunfire, and you're basically good to go. In that case, if you don't have anything and you're already at 6, I would rather have a Kindred or an Akali and another item order. It's just straight up better for the Asol. And yeah, at that point, it's just leveling to 8, find your Asol, find your Ornn, and you're basically good to go. 7 mages, 3 Dragon Souls. So this comp is actually so strong, like stronger than I thought when I tried to when I played it on my EU West account. This is the freest top 4 you can get. But there is some little tricks to it, because you cannot just force it. You need to have made chosen first, and second, you need to have good positioning and Annie 3. If you want to top 4, you need Annie 3 with tanky items. So I've seen GA, Gameblade, and another tanky items working, but you know, if you want to be, you know, the tankiest Annie ever, you just do this. Right, she just won't die, and with 7 mages, she actually can be considered a carry. She will have enough damage to kill your front line. Okay, it's like that good. After that, it's just Orient Sword items. If you have Juganglade and Gunblade, fantastic. Maybe you can have the blue buff, so you can ult faster, right? But honestly, the third item doesn't really matter. GA is fine, QSS, you know, you name it. The idea is that with 7 mages and double the Asol with 2 ults, you should already know who is going to win the fight. If Orient Sword ults twice, you either know you're winning the fight because there is only 1 or 2 more units that you need to kill, that Vigor can kill, or you didn't kill anything and, well, you have to ult again. So, yeah, this comp basically matters what items you have on the Annie and your positioning of the Asol. That's basically it. Although there's one more really important trick that I need to talk about, is the positioning of your third Dragon Soul. In the late game, it's going to be Swain just because it's a legendary. Before that, might be Braum, might be Shyvana, whatever you hit, right? So usually, right, if there is no assuming there is no assassins or Zed or anything like that, this one will be the first one to get the buff, and there is only 1 buff because you're only playing 3 Dragon Souls. How the Dragon Soul buff passes, if you can see it here, it says on death, this blessing passes to the closest Dragon Soul eye, meaning you need to have that Dragon Soul unit on the same side as the Orient Soul, because you want that spell power and attack speed on the Orient Soul, not on a brand. On a brand, it will be completely useless, right? So, a little trick here: position your Dragon Soul unit on the same side of the Orient Soul. So, if you switch your Orient Soul here, you just put the Swain here, and you're good to go. Okay. As far as the early game on this, it's pretty straightforward. Let's say you do hit, I don't know, Lulu Mage, for example. Ideally, you want to hit Annie because you want to 3-star her. But let's just say you hit... actually, let's skip Annie. Let's go best case scenario, right? The idea here is to basically get the Orient Soul ASAP to get 3 Dragon Souls with 5 mages. And then you just level and add more mages. That's literally the comp. There's nothing else I can, you know, add to it. In the early game, you play whatever you can hit alongside your mage chosen, whatever it is. Brawler, Vanguards, whatever. Hopefully you can get 3 mages in. I'm down to just have a TF holding the Orient Sword items early game and then potentially sell it to find him again later. That's totally fine. Or if you find one early game and extra, there you go, you just keep it. You just basically need to make sure you have an item order, that's all. With those items, I'm down to have Kindred is like the best free card. So you can have Akali is okay, not the best, but Akali is okay. Teemo is fantastic, especially with Sharpshooter. There's a lot of item order that you can have in the early game before you find the asshole. But the idea from this comp is just pretty simple. You find all the mages you can, you play whatever mages you have, you go to level 7, you free start the army, go level 8, go for 7 mages, Dragon Soul, 2-star your Orient Soul, get those items, get your LP. It's that simple. So now I'm gonna talk a little more about the early mid-game transitions that you can have and main item orders. So if you're going the Dragon Soul route in the early game, actually Tristana can hold the items. The Tristana True Gauntlet, it does work, it will crit, okay? It will crit. Of course Gunblade is kind of meh, but, if you need the order, that's great. I would rather have probably that on a Teemo, but if you do not find a Teemo, then the Tristana is fantastic, especially with those units. If you don't find Shyvana, it can be Braum. Otherwise, if you are weak at 3-2, going to level 6, you need to roll. Those two are the best, like I said. You can roll for Veigar as well, that can be a good one. Ideally with blue buff though, otherwise it won't hold that much. So if you do have a blue buff inside of the Gunblade or inside of the True Gauntlet, for example, a fantastic order is Veigar. Go for it. If you find him, just go for it. Otherwise, any tanky items is on the Annie or Vanguard border that you find in the early game. And that's pretty much it. I don't have anything, that's useful to add to the mages. If you do have any questions about that, let me know. Now it's time for the bonus, because I get this question actually asked quite a lot, like, hey, voices, what are the best mage cap users in set 4.5? Boom! Here they are. So it's actually debatable who will be the best, just because those two with mage are so broken. This Zillion 2-star with mage will hold 6 units. Like, if you're level 8, that's almost your entire board. So that's kind of nuts. It's also nuts for Swain and Shyvana, and they work the same, by the way. So what's gonna happen with these two is that they are gonna double their HP, because once they transform, they gain HP. Swain to the bird, and Shyvana to the dragon. Shyvana will just jump twice, and they both will get a 2-star. By the way, they will get 9,000 HP. 9,000 HP. Got it? 9,000. So if you have the Annie and Do and this, you have your front line. You're good. Okay? Another order can be Kindred. Waiting for maybe these two. If you hit the Kindred, it's a great item, especially if it holds the Orient Sword items. It will carry you. Double casting on a Kindred should kill most units with just basically the torts. And then there is Sivir. So let me talk about Sivir, because it's not really known by most players. But what's gonna happen with Mage Sivir is once she ults, she's gaining AD and gaining attack speed all around her, right? That's how her ability works. So she will gain twice that amount of AD. So that means that at level 6, if you have mages in place with maybe a Cultist opener with mages, with TF, Sivir mages, and maybe a Lulu, the Sivir 2-star will have a little more than 400 AD. 400 AD. That's more than Olaf, that's more than Trida, that's a lot of 80. That will carry you the mid game, okay? So don't sleep on that. It's working that way. It is really, really strong. Yeah, that's all I will add for this bonus. Again, let me know if you have any questions down in the comments or in my Discord. We'll see you guys next time.